talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name's Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com, and Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. And you can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, I would love it if you could go and put a subscribe onto my channel, and don't forget to press the bell and hear the ding, so that when I upload any new videos, you'll be the first to know. My guest today is Cathy Nesbitt from the eastern side of Canada. I'm still waiting for someone to come on from the west, but never mind. And her business is called Cathy's Crawley Composters. But she believes that laughter is the best medicine. And because of what's happening in the world, we're having a mental health tsunami. So Cathy is a health and wellness advocate, and she is the founder of Cathy's Crawley Composters, which was established in 2002. Cathy's Sprouters and Cathy's Laughter Club. So she's got quite a few things there. She is a multi-award-winning environmental innovator who uses workshops and inspirational speaking to motivate people to live a more sustainable life. She is a certified laughter yoga teacher or leader teacher and appointed laughter ambassador in 2017, who with the laughter yoga, which was established in 1995. But anyway, I will let Cathy inform you and titillate you with her stories of laughter. Welcome, Cathy, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Rose. I'm excited to be here. I'll see if I can send someone from the West.
Beautiful. Okay, so tell me a little bit about how you got into laughter yoga and laughter medicine and laughter leaders and all those sorts of things.
So my main mission, I believe, is to put worms at every living space. Not everyone wants worms, right? I know, right? Including you, Rose. So it's indoor composting with worms. And, just briefly about that, in 2002, our landfill closed and we started shipping garbage out of Toronto area, largest city in the country. We started shipping our garbage to the US. Youpee! Here, US, have our garbage.
Where it belongs.
You're welcome. Right? I mean, it costs a lot of money. It's bad for the planet. I mean, and I was just like, I seem to be one of those people that have information that it's available to everybody, but I seem to get the message like, wow, this is a simple thing. So I was like, wow, here's a solution. And I was afraid of worms before starting my worm business.
No, they're cute. Worms are cute.
They have five hearts.
I like earthworms. I think they're gorgeous little creatures.
Yay. Yeah, they're beautiful. So, so I started this worm business because half the people in Toronto live in condos or high rise, whatever, without a backyard to do outdoor composting. So I was like, I have a solution. We don't have to ship our garbage. We can manage our food scraps and our paper, turn it into black gold, AKA worm poo, fertilizer, and then grow more nutritious food. Like, it's not rocket science, it's earth science.
It is earth science.
And about 10 years in, I have a ton of energy. I mean, I'm just like, and when you believe in something, it's like you just go, you're like, okay, this is so important. Everybody needs this. Not everybody buys what they need. They buy what they want. Right? So I was like, okay, everybody, you need this. You need this. And they're like, ooh, worms in the house. So so I was like, how am I going to put worms in every house? So I started to do school workshops, really great. Then I was like, I have to wait 20 years till they have buying power. I'm at 19. 19 years in,
you've been very patient, I can tell you.
Around 2012 or 2013, I was getting discouraged with, one more person saying, ew, worms in the house. And I was like, oh, wow, maybe I should just get a job. Who would have me? And then I was introduced to laughter yoga. Like, I really believe in serendipity or whatever things that come along. When you're introduced, take notice. And I do. And so I was at a business meeting, and the speaker gave a 5-minute intro into laughter yoga. And I don't do yoga, and it's not yoga. And I'll talk about what laughter yoga is in a moment. And I was like, oh, laughter yoga, that sounds like something I could do. And that I took notice. That same week, I was at a business networking event, hundreds of people. This was before COVID.
Oh, I hope so.
Right? Well, hundreds of people, youpee! Oh, I must have been dreaming. And the very first person I met was a laughter yoga teacher. And I was like, twice in 1 week. So I said to her, oh, laughter yoga is mainstream. And she said, no, it isn't. And so that night we trooped around, everybody we met. I said, have you heard of laughter yoga? Have you heard of And nobody had. So I was like, interesting. Anyway, I decided to get trained as a leader, a teacher. I loved it. Now it's a big part of my health plan. I've taken this on because laughter is the best medicine. We've all heard it. So we're secreting the love drugs, dopamine, right? I say, have you had your daily dose? Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Youpee, dose. Versus cortisol when we're stressed. We're secreting cortisol. We need some to get off our butt, but we're secreting way too much in this, especially during this time.
Yeah. So how can we educate the populace on on laughing more and trying to? I've got to tell you a story. In Australia, before the politically correct police started, we used to be able to, as a nation, laugh at ourselves. You know, we could tell jokes, we could laugh at ourselves as a people, as a nation, and, you know, no one got offended. But now you can't even tell a joke that you could tell 20 years ago because the PC police have, said, oh, it's not appropriate. So we've lost the ability to laugh at ourselves as a nation. And I think it's really sad that we don't do that anymore because, we are a funny nation. We've got funny animals and we've got funny creatures, and they're nowhere else in the world. And as a population, we are a myriad of nationalities, and so we could laugh at ourselves, and we don't. And now with this crisis that's about the world, and we've even lost the ability even further to laugh at ourselves. And so we need to educate the populace, I believe, to bring back that laughter.
We need to bring back the laughter. Yes. So laughter yoga, it was established in 1995 by a medical doctor in India, Dr. Madan Kataria. And his goal is world peace through laughing. Can you imagine? It's a global movement, Rose. It's global. There's laughter clubs around the world. North America's a late adopter, so yoga's just arriving. So laughter, really, it's not about jokes or comedy. It's intentional. It's deciding to laugh. Like, it's a cardiovascular workout. It's deep diaphragmatic breathing. So there are so many, there is tons of research around the benefit of laughter. So I don't need to bring that here. What we need to understand, what people watching need to understand is laughter yoga is not about, let me talk about happiness and joy. Like we talk about, I'll be happy when I get that job, or when I pay my house off, or when I get the guy or the girl, all of those things. But those are just like things that are just momentary, like a kid when they get a new toy and they're like, oh, yay, that's what I wanted. And then, then they're 5 minutes later playing with the box. Right? That's how we are. We're like, oh, that's great. Now what's next? Then we're always looking for the next thing. Joy is a different thing where we can be joyful no matter what. And laughter. So laughter yoga, it wasn't even online really before. Nobody was online. Now we're all zooming around. Thank God for technology, right? That we can have these chats. It's so beautiful. And laughter yoga, there are clubs almost 24/7 online now. So if anybody wants to jump into this movement and feel more joyful, they can just join a class. And I got to tell you, if you've never attended a laughter yoga club, the first time you go, it will be weird. Even if you're a natural laugher, it'll be like,
Yeah, I've
what's up?
heard that. I have heard that. I've had people that are, quite joyous people and have gone to their very first laughter yoga and just felt a little bit intimidated. Yes.
Yeah, so you just have to go and that, pardon me, break through that barrier of the discomfort. Like, oh, what is this? Okay, break through, because then once you play along, like if you give yourself permission to play along and smile and just giggle, you don't have to be laughing full on, but just like even like smiling, you send a note to your brain, hey, I must be happy I'm smiling. Right? That thing about putting a pencil in your teeth, if you really can't smile, just put, and then that forces you to use those
And
muscles.
it's less muscles to smile than it is to frown. And you get
Right.
less wrinkles.
Right? Look at me. I'm 80. No,
You are not.
I'm not. um, yeah, so it is odd, and like I said, even as a natural laugher, the first time I went to a club, I was like, this is really a strange thing. But at the end of the club, it was like, wow, you just feel like you're all oxygenated. So here's the thing. I mean, we can live with food and water for a few days. We might be grumpy and uncomfortable, but we could do it. We can only live without oxygen for a few minutes. Laughter forces us, right? Ha ha. You can't just ha ha ha. You gotta breathe in. Right, or you pass out. You have to breathe in when you ha ha. And so it's that deep diaphragmatic breathing where you're like ho ho ho, and you're moving your diaphragm. So there, I talked about the many benefits of laughing. I talked about the love drugs, oxygenating our beautiful body. You know that cancer cannot survive in an oxygen rich body.
No, I didn't know that.
That's huge.
It is.
So,
my God.
those
So why they have oxygen tanks, and the people go and actually sit in these oxygen booth things and just saturate their body with oxygen.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Right. The oxygen is our life. It's our life. And so laughter is the best medicine because it's the oxygen. I mean, and we also have so we have our heart to pump our blood. We have another fluid, lymph, and lymph only moves when we move or when we do deep diaphragmatic breathing. So the diaphragm is kind of like the pump. So when we're saying ho, ho, and ha, ha, that's moving our diaphragm, pumping our lymph. So we're sitting a lot, like we're pretty sedentary population now. We're at computers, especially during this cuckoo time, right? We're stuck in our homes. So laughter, people can connect so that you're not isolated, you're connected with the people. And we were wondering if it would work on Zoom, and it works wonderfully because you can see each other. We can play with our cameras, like doing handshake or high fives, little master, just doing little games. We can even do elevator, going up, going down.
Stairs, yeah.
So laughter yoga is not jokes or comedy. I mentioned that. It's intentional laughter. So as the laughter leader, during a session, it would be maybe a half an hour or an hour. In person, it would probably be an hour where you have, you do some warm up because it is a cardiovascular. So you do some gentle stretching and when moving, deep breathing, and then some laughing, clapping and chanting. And when you're clapping, you clap palm to palm. So you're activating the meridians, like acupuncture without the needles. Fun. Way better. And then at the end, there's this beautiful laughter meditation. And when people hear meditation, they go, oh, I've tried that. I'm trying to be still and stop the thoughts. And, they're always coming and it's stressful. Good. So that's a still meditation. Laughter meditation is a dynamic meditation. So in person, it's so beautiful. If everybody's able, you lay on the ground and you have your heads facing the center. It's called bullseye laughter. And you've already been connected. You're all laughed. And you're laying on your back so nobody can see you. And then you laugh full on, I don't know, a couple of minutes, 5 minutes, however long it goes. It's organic. It just like, and then somebody will laugh over there and then everyone starts going. And then it's like, ha, ha. And then somebody will say, ha, ha, ha. And then it starts again, right? It burbles up again. And then once it's over, the leader invites the people just to, if they're comfortable, close their eyes and just breathe and just feel that incredible energy that you've just created. Like it's just magic. You just feel like you just had this incredible spa treatment.
Now,
So
don't you feel that when someone starts to laugh, then the whole room will start to laugh?
Yes. And some people are like laughter blasters, where they're like really big laughers. And my parents divorced when I was 7. My dad moved away, and I think that laughter is maybe one of those genetic traits. My dad he just passed, but he had this huge laugh. So anywhere, even though I wasn't raised with my dad, I inherited my dad's giant laugh. So any time at a party, you would know where my dad was. My husband, I do a lot of exhibiting for my worm business. And my husband says, I never have to worry where Cathy is. I just have to stop and listen for a moment. And then, oh, she's over there, laughing. And so, so I do think, I think sometimes our society has squished out laughter because it's, like you're not very attractive. It's not very attractive when you're laughing full on, right?
Especially when you start to snort.
You snort.
That's it.
Right. But it feels so good and it connects us. And I heard, I don't know if this is even true, but that it was actually the ancient Greeks that snuffed out laughter because they were like, we can't control people when they're laughing full on. When all the crowd is laughing, there's nothing to be done. So let's just stop them from laughing. So no laughing in school, no laughing in, religious institutions. Stop laughing, everyone. What are those kids doing? They're just laughing. Just leave them. Join them.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful thing. And I feel like during this cuckoo time, I mentioned already why I started laughter because of my worm business. It really helped me stay in my mission, which is to help people get worms, like to put worms, to understand why you need to have worms, why you would want to have them. And I don't want to meet people like 20 years down the road and say, I lived in an apartment all this time. I didn't know. Mm-hmm. I want them to know and then decide not to do it or do it. Right. If you don't know, then you're not doing it. Mm. And I came up with an expression for my worm business, which is without awareness, action is impossible. So I was like, wow, worms are they're going to play a part in solving our soil. Like I'm not sure how Australia is doing, but in North America, we do a lot of monoculture. Like we grow a lot of corn, a lot of soy, like acres and acres and hectares. They're just like whole states are corn or wheat. That's not natural. That's not how nature.
We have rotation here. I mean, even the farmers here, if they grow wheat one season, they'll grow barley or something the next, so that their ground gets regenerated and because some crops leach out the nutrients and some crops actually put it back in. So they've learned over the years that to be productive and the soil to be productive, they need to rotate their crops. So.
Yeah. So because of that, our soil really has become deplete because of the chemicals that we're using and many things. And the equipment. I mean, even the farm equipment, if you think about how we used to farm before we cleared all the forests, we would use an ox and we'd be behind the ox and whatever. Like it was just, and I'm not saying we should go back to that, just we need to be mindful that all this equipment is compacting the soil and the chemicals are making the soil chemical dependent. So our vegetables are chemical dependent. And now the chemicals that they're creating are becoming resistant to, so the chemicals are becoming resistant to rain and all of that stuff, and they're becoming insidious. I can't remember what the term is, but the chemicals are actually going in the food, so in the fruit, and so when we eat that fruit, we're messing with our microbiome because it's killing the bugs in it, because it's meant to kill bugs. So it does kill bugs. It kills the bugs in our gut. And we are bugs. Sorry for anyone that's listening that's like, not bugs. Yeah, you are. Sorry. Bacteria, but fungi, we're full of it. Yeah, so we need to be mindful about, GM food, GMOs are not good or bad. We just need to be mindful that they're designed to keep that chemical so that they're Roundup ready, so that the Roundup doesn't kill the plant, it just kills the bugs. But then that plant becomes
we're not allowed to use Roundup's banned in Australia, so like DDT.
Yay.
Yeah,
Europe too. I don't know why North America, it's Monsanto, they have a hold on us. And
DDT was, I think Australia was the first to ban DDT, and then Roundup just recently because of all the carcinogen effects that it has on the body. So
it's heavy. That's why laughter, right? I mean, if I get too mired down, I'm one of those super sensitive entities. I like being super sensitive is probably my superpower, but it's also my kryptonite. Right? Say something mean, I get hurt.
God forbid.
What's that?
God forbid that anyone would say anything mean to you.
Put him up. So laughter really has helped me to stay. Now I get people laughing and then they like me. They're like, oh, she's fun. And then I say, oh, by the way, I've got worms and you should too.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it quite like that.
Not worms here. I got worms.
Yeah, that's it. I've got worms in a composter, not worms in my belly.
Right. Worms in the composter. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify that people, that she doesn't have worms in her belly, that she's got worms in a composter. Okay.
My working title is Cathy Crawley Laughing Bean Queen. And I do believe I have world hunger and world peace solved. So worms for amending. Yeah, don't you love it? Worms for amending the soil, sprouts for eating, and laughter for overall health and wellness, like for our mental, physical, like spiritual, and for the planet. I mean, it's just do what I do, everybody. And it's, it'll be a better place. We'll get along. We'll sing Kumbaya and it'll be just wonderful.
It will be. Definitely will be. Now, have you written any books, Cathy?
I have not. I do have a documentary.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah, so my documentary was very, to my mind, it was fascinating. I really think it's interesting how things come about. What happened? I got an article in a US magazine called Biocycle. And from that article, I was contacted by an organization in Michigan that was doing vermicomposting. And there's a woman, Mary Applehoff, she passed in 2005. She wrote a book called Worms Eat My Garbage. She was telling people you could put worms in your house since the 70s. So I was like, imagine how cuckoo people thought she was in the 70s, saying, yeah, bring the worms inside. No, Mary, we're not. Because I'm still experiencing that, all these years later. So because of that article, I had a chance. I created an organization or a partnership with schools in Canada and the States called Worms Without Borders. And it was for the schools to share experiences with their worm bin in the class. I had a chance to go to Michigan to talk to the teachers down there. What are we going to do? And they were far more advanced down in Michigan. Thank goodness, because they're doing awful things. Like with the water and whatever. Okay, that's a whole nother topic. But we went down there. We ended up, my husband and I, we stopped in Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan is, sorry for anyone in Flint, but it's really, there's burned out buildings. That's where Ford, GM, and Chrysler all had their head office.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, so Michigan was a big automotive state.
It was.
And now everyone makes cars. I mean, we even make cars in Ontario, imagine. So they needed a new industry. But anyway, so everyone pulled out. That's where Michael Moore is from. Michael Moore, who does all kinds of documentaries about, things that are wrong in the world. You love him, you hate him, whatever. But
whatever. We
right?
won't get him.
Yeah, not everybody's a fan of his, but he does bring issues to the front. And his first documentary was Roger and Me about Flint, Michigan. And I didn't know that he was from Flint till I was in Flint. And I was like, wow, interesting. So Mary had passed. I asked a couple of people, hey, have you heard of Mary Applehoff and vermicomposting? And they had not. And I was like, wow, when you die, you're dead unless somebody keeps you alive. So I decided that I was going to get Michael Moore to do a documentary about Mary. So I had a freelance writer interview me and write this letter to Michael Moore about how, it was a beautiful letter about how Michigan could be the worm capital of the world. They had all, like, they were now the trash capital, right? Now they're importing garbage from Canada. They have the lowest tipping fees at their landfill, which, attracts all the garbage from all the states, surrounding states. Like, oh, we can truck our garbage over to Michigan. Like, ridiculous, right? Okay, that's a good idea. Just for money. Yeah. And they have, because Ford, GM, and Chrysler all moved out of there, they had all those empty head offices, all those empty buildings. They could, anyway. So this beautiful letter, I always carried that letter with me because 6 degrees of separation, right? Toronto has a film festival. Michael Moore attends every year. And so I was like, somebody knows him, dated him, or sued him. And I was at a film festival and I was exhibiting there, and I was an environmental film festival. And I said to the organizers, hey, I'm trying to get Michael Moore to write this letter or to do this documentary. Here's a letter that do you know anyone that knows him? He read the letter and he was like, he was a filmmaker, I didn't know. And he said to his partner, hey, Dave, come and check this out. And he read the letter and he's like, why don't we do this movie? And then they're like, oh, maybe you want Michael Moore to do it. I'm like, no, he could do Squirm too. So my documentary is called Squirm, which is the name for the collective noun for a group of worms. And he followed me around for a whole year at my events and, just different things that I was doing. And I think he put together a nice little, it's 35-minute little documentary about the worms and kind of about my business. Yeah. So I thought rather than write a book, I'd do a movie first.
Okay.
But it's old. That's from 2008.
All right. I'm just writing that down. I'll go and do a bit of research on it.
Yeah, please do. Have a look.
Okay. So you haven't done a book, but you've done a documentary. Well, that's a level up from everybody else, I expect. Most everyone's written a book, but not many people have done docos.
Right, I know.
Yeah, so you're miles ahead, lady. Go on. Good on you.
I'm having fun. I feel like one of my goals in life, I believe, is to inspire the young people to get this message sooner. You don't have to have a midlife crisis. Not that I did. I just was one of those people that understood early that I want to live my own life, that I want to do my own, I want to dance around to my own band. And I really want younger people to understand that, where there's so much comparison, especially social media. It's really,
it's awful, isn't it?
It's really like we need it. And it connects us, but it connects us in a way that makes us compare. And then we're like looking like at everyone's highlight reel, like, oh, look at them. They're having such a good life. But like, who posts like, I'm having a shitty day? Not many people will post those things.
No, they don't.
No, like, so I think that it's really not, yeah. So what I really want people to understand, young people particularly, is this too shall pass. Nobody is talking about you the way you think they are. And if they are, like, just move on. Who cares? It's not your business what they're saying about you.
That's right. It's not.
Yeah, it really is not.
It's usually the small people, they have nothing better to do. They do all the gossiping. And the people that are actually actively, engaged in whatever are the ones that don't gossip. So, go figure.
Yeah. Yeah. Just do your own, live your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, it seems like a simple thing. Eat well, exercise, be nice.
And laugh a lot.
And laugh a lot. It really helps. It's funny because I have a Tuesday club and I know it's pretty it's going to be pretty late for Australia. It's going to be 11:30 your time. So a little bit late to full on laugh and then go to bed.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you'd be too pumped up to go to sleep.
But I do have a free club every Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern. It's half an hour on Zoom, just, self-care, just come. And I had a one woman come who, she doesn't come now because she was somewhere in the States when we did our time change. It's really too early for her. She was like, I'm not a morning person, but I come. And so when it's an hour earlier, she was like, I can't come till you go back till the fall. She'll be back. She said, I believe that laughter saved my marriage. I was like, oh, no pressure. Right, because she said, I'm a really grumpy person. And so, I have many stories like that. I was invited to speak we have a group called Probus, which is a professional business. Yeah, you know Probus, good. Yeah. So I was invited. It was at a fancy, ballroom at a in a fancy area anyway. 300 people in the audience, and I was going to do laughter yoga. And after I did this, so I had them standing and sitting, and they were participating. I was talking a bit where they were playing. At the end, a woman came up to me and she said, my husband hates those interactive things. But he didn't know who the speaker was. So he came. And then as soon as you said, okay, everybody stand, we're going to do some laughter yoga. She said he looked at her like, growl. And I was like, and so she said, I was laughing so hard just at him. And I said, oh, I wish I saw him in the audience, because I love not laughing at them, but just like, it takes so much effort not to play along. Like you could be like, nope, I'm not.
Yeah, but it takes a lot. Once one starts, we all tend to. It's I don't know why, but it just happens.
Yeah.
It's like if someone starts to sneeze, then the whole room sneezes for whatever reason. I have no idea, but it's something. It's contagious. It's contagious. It is.
Contagious in a good way, everyone.
Of course. Well, I've got to say, Cathy, it's been really enjoyable talking to you. I've had a really great time. I won't sleep tonight now because now I've had so much laughter, but
you'll have wonderful dreams.
Of course I will. Now, can you tell me where people can find you?
Yes, my laughter page is cathysclub.com. That's my laughter if they want to know about that. If they want to know about worms, it's Cathy's Crawley Compost. Cathy'sComposters.com. I should know.
And any last words of wisdom?
Just, yes, go and find a laughter club. There's tons online. You can just Google laughter yoga, and you will find a club. If you're on Facebook, there's all kinds of clubs. 24/7, you can be laughing. And just like any teacher, there's different laughter yoga teachers. Like I'm high energy, but I bring a lot of different, like I do brain gym and tapping and different energy modalities. Not everybody does. People bring different things. So, find the teacher that works for you, but just add more laughter to your life. You will be so happy. We used to say, fake it till you make it. But then people said, oh, it felt fake because we set it up that way. Now we say the mind doesn't know the difference between real and imagined laughter. The mind doesn't, because it's the thinker. The body is the feeler. So our mind might be like, this is weird. The body's like, pew, pew, pew. Ah, thank you. I feel so good. So just do it and feel good.
Absolutely. All right, Cathy, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Rose. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Talking with the experts.